Sharmila Tagore, and she joins us on NDTV now. Sharmila ji, so great to have you after a very long time on the channel. What was it like to be Amitabh Bachchan's co-star and to work with him on set?
You know, it was really wonderful, because those days you could only suggest a time to your co-actor, you know, whether it was Sanjeev Kumar or Rajesh Khanna or Dharmendra or whoever. And the shooting time was from 9 to 6 or 9:30 to 6:30. But no hero would turn up on set before 11:30, even 12 if it was Hari Bhai, Sanjeev Kumar. But Amitabh and Shashi were the only two people who arrived on set on time, which was really lovely, because you could finish your work at 6 o'clock or 6:30 and go home. So, yeah, that was one thing, that he was punctual and he came totally prepared. Like, you know, there was no sort of learning lines on the set or delay because of him, you know. So it was a pleasure to work with him. And another thing, he wouldn't interfere with your work. He would sit in those double chairs that he had because of his long legs. So he would sit there. And if the director was telling me something or I was doing something, he wouldn't be concerned. He would be reading a magazine or something, and he would give his shot. Not like others, bhai, aap aise kyun nahi kar sakte ho, Sharmila ji ko aise bolo, you know. So that wasn't. He didn't interfere. And his punctuality, I just loved it, because, you know, managing home and work, it meant a lot to me.
So how was he different to work with from, say, Rajesh Khanna, with whom you worked with a lot at that time?
All the actors were different. Everybody's, you know, personality was different. And that's why they were, you know, sort of diverse kind of. But he was quiet. He was not chatty. Like on the set, he wouldn't go chat, 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 chat. You know, that is very distracting. You do that after the backup. So I think that was another point about him. Actually, all my actors, my co-actors have been very, you know, wonderful to work with. But Amit's punctuality, his not interfering with the co-star's performance, I mean, these things stand out, you know, and he would listen to the director and just generally be very quiet on the set, so that everybody else could get along. Although his huge presence was there, I mean, once he became Amitabh Bachchan, but he didn't interfere with anybody's work. You know, he kept himself to himself.
Of course, one of your most iconic films together was Chupke Chupke.
Okay. Absolutely. Everybody loves it. Although he and I are not together. I'm with Bharat and he's with Jaya. But we have a couple of scenes together. And he was so good in a comic role, you know, sort of pushing his glasses up. And Virud was also very good. I think we had a few scenes that were very nicely captured. Yes.
Well, what was it, in your view, about Amitabh Bachchan in the 1970s and 80s that catapulted him to such stardom? He wasn't just the angry young man, and you actually saw his transition into the big league.
You know, I've seen him right from the beginning. Yeah. Like when he just was trying to get into films, and he was very friendly with Mehmood's brother, and they were doing things together. I remember a particular day in CCI, we were all there. I think it was a fundraiser of sorts, and they were comparing the show, and he came to me, and I was very nervous about Hindi. So, you know, he was telling me, do it like this, do it like that. So he was so passionate. And then later, of course, he worked, and initially his films were not doing terribly well. And then again, he became that angry young man, as you're saying, and, you know, he became very, very popular. And then he had that terrible accident, you know, in Coolie, where he almost lost his life. He fought for his life. He came back. There was a slump, and then he came up again. And again, then after this ABCL, you know, the production house wasn't doing well. So there was a bad patch there. And then came Kaun Banega Crorepati. And then he came inside our homes. And I remember there was my mother-in-law, Tiger, I, the children, the staff members. We were all, and those days we didn't have so many television sets, but though there were a few, but all of us watching together and loving it. So he was speaking to each of us, like, my age group. So he had something to say. And I think what really connected him to the people, because he could speak both to Bharat and to India. Now the English has become the norm, but so I think his upbringing, his exposure to both the worlds, and his passion, and his musicality, because he's fond of music and of course the gadgets also. So he has that ear for accent, and he observes and he absorbs, and he has the pulse of the time, so he can reinvent himself. And of course he's got this sartorial fancy look, so he wears this very colorful shirt that he always has. So I think I really don't know why he's become so, like, as in this status of his, but he has over the years, and behind it is hard work and commitment, because without that you can't be where he is now. And he has talked to all the generations and all the languages, and it's like pan-Indian image and following that he has.
Well, since you saw him from the beginning, did you think that he would become such a big star?
Because his first few films did not do well, and Jaya was far more famous than Amitabh. He used to play the sitar, and we were friends also. We used to meet socially. But he's hung in there. And when the moment came, he was prepared for it and he delivered. So yes, initially people were not accepting him, and Jaya was far more famous. But I think Zanjeer was it, or when that angry young man look came, and then he just overtook everybody, and it was just fantastic.
Sharmila Tagore, thanks very much for joining us on NDTV today. Thank you.
Thank you. And can I just wish him?
Please do.
Many, many happy returns of the day, Amit. It's a very special day and many more to come. I wish you all the best.